So curious how you financed all three of your feature films. Were they different situations each time?
Okay, how did I find? Well, every feature film that I've done has gotten financed differently because that's what you do when you get there. It's sort of like there's no plan. If I was independently wealthy or had some sort of whatever, there's no plan. It's what you do at the time. With 10 Till Noon, we raised money through traditional investors. We burned through a lot of favors and we burned through all our money people. With Official Rejection, we ended up self-financing the whole movie. It was, but a lot of that piggybacked 10 Till Noon. So we were able to do it pretty cheaply. We deferred a lot of money in that film, so we were able to do it that way. With Favor, we crowdfunded it, and that was the new thing to do, and that worked. So for the next one, I'm not sure what we're going to do. It's kind of like you can't kind of do the same thing twice. I mean,
why? I find it interesting.
With traditional distributors, distributors, we talk about it so much. With traditional investors, you sort of, they're going to lose money, probably. And if they make money, great. But if they do, it's in the long game. So until the film's made money, it's hard to go back to the same person and go, hey, by the way, another 10 grand? What do you think? Another 30 grand? It's very hard to do that because it takes a lot of years for a film to be profitable. So, in the rare case you get a hit, but and the thing is, we're friendly with them all. It's not like they're like, oh, where's our money? But they're not. You don't want to go back and try to tap them again. You want to go to the next round. So, that's why you kind of don't want to do it at the same place twice until you can come back with really, really good news. Hey, we finally, have some profit for you. Self-financing is hard because you burn through your money, quickly, and it takes a while for that to build back up. And then with crowdfunding, I think it's the same thing. You go back to that well the second time, especially before the first one's out. I think it's hard. I think you can do it. Gary King's doing his third crowdfunding campaign. I think it's more successful if you do it in small bursts too. I know one guy, this filmmaker named Gorman, who does it. He's always got a campaign going, but they're only like $1,000, $2,000, and he's raised lots of money, but he just keeps feeding, and people kind of keep double dipping, triple dipping because it's so small. That's one way of doing it. But it's like you have to wait. It's like harvesting fruit. You gotta wait for the fruit to grow back. With the new film that we're putting together now, Small Hours, we're trying to go back to traditional investors again, but we're going to try to hit different ones, and we're going to try to go for more money this time. So that's sort of how that works. I think it's really dependent upon the film, the time it's being made, and what you have available to you at that time. You'll find a way. That's the way to go.
What are your thoughts on credit cards?
I think investing in, I
suppose you have one that has no APR for like a year, and you're like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I can pay this off rapidly if I just put all this on it really quickly, and it'll be no problem.
I think working on credit cards is I'm not going to advise that because that's really scary. That said, if I had a credit card that had no interest for a year and I knew I could make that money back in a year with a reasonable amount of certainty, I might not do that. But I think it's always better to go with positive cash. I have done this. I have closed an IRA to fund a part of a film. I have done that. So it's like saying, the whole thing is you miss all the shots you don't take. Well, you also don't have all the films you don't make. Like, how long are you going to be dead? Like, here's your death. Here's forever. Well, I died with all this money. Yeah, but you could have made another film. Those films are made over here. They're not made here. So, and I think, as I get older, and it takes me 3 or 4 years to make a movie, I get very aware of time. How many more films do I have before I'm too old to lift the camera, or before I get mocked?
So you just sold all the Levitt's furniture stock, and you said,
yeah, you make it. But again, I think, like, I know these filmmakers out of New York, and they make a film every couple of years, and they made one on 16. They raised a lot of money, and they made one on Super 16 a few years ago. They made the next one for like 40 grand. They wanted to make another one. They didn't have access to money. They didn't have They hadn't gotten money from this yet. They hadn't gotten money this yet. They were in a place where they didn't have money. They didn't want to crowdfund. So they found a way to make a film for $1,000. They made shot on a 5D, and one of them acted in it as the lead, and they got another actor they knew in New York to play the other lead. And they went back to their hometown and they shot in their parents' restaurant. Their parents played her parents and these people that they knew. And they shot this a crew of like a very small crew with, lavaliers and a little mic pack and crew of 2, and they shot this thing for under $1,000. And it's a really good movie. I mean, it's a really well done movie. It's a very well acted film. They knew exactly where to bring in real actors and where to let people be themselves, using these locations that they could control. And they took the time, and they shot on, again, they used labs, used a zoom and a 5D, and the film looks and sounds great. It's a really good movie for $1,000. So I think you find a way to do it. It's really how it works. Maybe their next film they'll crowdfund it. Maybe the next film they'll do this. But you kind of have to, unless you have a reliable source of revenue or you have a trust fund, you really have to kind of alternate how you raise money for movies, and you have to kind of pick the right way of raising money for that film, or pick the film based on the money you have access to at that time.